I am fixing to go, well, I gotta turn that radio off. I moved the radio from the shop to my porch, my back deck, and so now I'm trying to talk over it. Okay, I've opened their gate back. There's one little one that's jumped out down there beside, nope, two now. Oh, that mama, oh, mama's pecking at them. They're standing on the edge looking over, like deciding. Okay, slowly. There's 4, 5. There was a number 5. He went back in. Now here comes another one. Here they're seeing. Hey, look at them walk up and down the fence. How did he get out there? How did he get out there? There. She figured it out. There she comes. Look at this buff up, this little buff up here. She's gonna fly out. She's trying to figure it out. Let me see if I can fly out of there. Go! You're free to go. They're so funny. You're free to go. Fly out. Look at this. He's a big one. He can't figure it out. He's a Bubba. You know. Big old Bubba. Bubbas can't never figure things out. Dear me, I hope that's not gonna offend nobody. It's just a little saying. It's a big old Bubba. There they go. That little girl wants to do it, but she just can't figure it. She just can't make herself. Somebody been picking her tail feathers. She might be better off staying up there away from everybody. I wanted to get off in that grass. Look at Molly. There's one little section down there because she was laying in that corner. And so I stopped right there because I wanted to make her get up. But then I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and let them come out because they're not going to come down there by me while I'm working. They'll stay away from me. And she's messing around in that wire. Ugh. There they come. They're out. So any roosters I'll get rid of. And if I find that I just have too little of a yard now and too many chickens, I'll get rid of a few chickens too. Start giving them away to people that needs them, but they needed more room. This gives them room now. And I'll leave all that open at night. Unless I come in and see them that they've all gone back in there and they're roosting on those roosts, then I may lock it up. But otherwise, I'll just, I don't know, I may have to lock them up. Shouldn't have said that because that may not be what I do. I may have to lock them up. It may be safer to lock them up until they're a little bit bigger. Okay, got the radio off. All right, so I've got things I'm going to do out here, but I'm going to start with, I know, I'm still doing something weird with my eye. I have to close it every now and then, hold it for a second. Can y'all see all this on the ground? I don't know if y'all can see it good. The trees dropping all those little, I call them worms, little seed things. Anyway, I'm gonna blow off my deck, and then I want to I got the rest of that little chicken wire stuff from Bree that they sent her. She ended up with 3 of them coops. 2 she hooked together, 1 she didn't use at all, and I think it's the wire that's left over from the one. Anyway, it's about 3 foot tall. I'm gonna run it down both sides of my chicken yard, and then across the front, and then across the gate. I'm fixing to go do that right now. I'm gonna blow this off first, and then I'm gonna let the little chicks out. There's just too many of them. The few that Jamie didn't get, Jamie came and got most of her chickens, but she didn't take them all. I think I ended up with about 12. I told her the other day, I said, Jamie, when we talked on the phone, I said, I think there's about 6 or 7 still out there, but when I got ready to put my little ones, bring them from the top to the bottom, I told her, I said, Jamie, I actually think there's about 10 to 12 of your chickens still out there if you want them. And she said she's not going to worry about it. So some of them may be roosters, and I don't keep roosters, but all of mine, the little ones that are not as big as those other ones yet, they're all hens, because that's all I ordered. So it's just too many for that little run now that they're getting bigger. They need more space. So my plan is to go ahead and let them out, but I think my small ones could shimmy through the little square wire that's around the run. And I still have to wrap the top. Still plan to do that, but the little ones won't be flying over it, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. In the next in a week or so, I'll get either Jake to go to McCoy's for me with the low boy, or I'll have a delivery brought out with the boards long enough to wrap the top. I've got 4 of those corral boards left, and I can wrap the top in corral boards, and it'll be less expensive than 2x4s, treated 2x4s. That would be probably take at least 3 more corral boards to wrap the whole thing. And then I really do need 1 full 20 foot, and I don't think they make corral boards in 20 foot, but I can see, can't remember, to go across at least the middle post, to be something in the middle for the net to sit on. All right, had to come back to the porch for my cutters and more staples, and I started doing something a little different here. You can see where I was trying to stay like even with that top wire. I mean, I know the staple's a little higher, but I'm basically keeping the wire even with the top. So what I started doing, when I come around the corner, you can see it's all done. It looks really good, but you see how when I staple at the bottom, it starts stretching, and I'm having to pull real tight. I'm using zip ties at the top. Okay, so at some point I realized, and so now I'm trying to staple a little higher, and by stapling higher up on the post, it's keeping this even with the wire. It's like right there, and I'm only having to use 1 zip tie in the center, as long as I staple a little higher than the original wire. And then I can stretch it down and still hit the bottom board down here. So I ran out of staples right here on this board right here. So let me put some staples in. All right, I only have a few minutes left on this battery. I didn't charge it last night. And I haven't cleaned up my mess. Like, there's a towel right there. Cause the ground is still wet from the rain the other night. Here goes my phone ringing. Anyway, I've got, I still have to pick up my tools, cutters and all that. I've rolled the wire up, it's right there. I'll put it away in a minute. But you can see all of them just making their way around the yard. A lot of them are still staying close to the doors down there where they came out, but some have made their way down here. Look at that one, spreading her wings. Oh, that one right there in front of the gate is a grown one, but there's some young ones right there. She's walking toward them beside the water trough, and I'm just dumped out the water and I'm putting new water in. Several come running when the water was on the ground and it was running off down through the grass. They come running up and was messing with the water, but then they went right back out there to the crowd. But they're just having a really good time at the edge of that grass line, I love it when I let chicks out. Even when I used to have them in the small brooder and I would let them into the bigger section, which I called, basically it was a chicken yard, but it was one of those small little houses with the little run on the side, but the chicks were too little. They hadn't feathered yet, so I kept them in the house part with the little door locked. But when it got to the point that they were ready to come out into that run, they would just, their little wings would just flap. And I mean, they were only going, you know, a couple of feet before they'd hit the, you know, before the end of the run. But they would just fly down. There's a little one in front of the gate. Anyway, they're out. Got that much done. It's like a step process. My next step is to get the top rails on and then the net, and I'll be done. It'll be, from there on, it'll be exactly how many I need for this yard and how many might be too many for this yard. And at this moment, I, in my inside my gut, already know there's too many for the size of the yard I have, unless I'm gonna pour food for them all day. And I, you know, yeah, I want to feed them. I feed my chickens, but I don't want them relying on nothing but feed to keep them alive. That's what tends to happen when you have a run. You know, when they're not being able to free range, you have to feed them to keep them healthy. And I want them to be able to scratch and find the bugs and all that kind of stuff. And I don't want that yard becoming dirt. It's one thing to have that little dirty area all up around where I throw their feed out, but I try to keep their feed in that dirt area. I don't throw the feed out into the grass. So if they want to scratch and eat a bug or two, that's one thing, but they're not scratching for seeds and grain in the grass. Because I'd like to keep a grassy yard, and it may not happen. It may, oh my gosh, I pray it doesn't turn into dirt. But, because I've never, ever in all of my 30-something years of having chickens off and on, I know I'm in my 50s, but when I was younger, well, no, that's not true, because I had some chickens, let's say, yeah, 30-something, that's good, 30-something years. I've never kept them in a little yard where they weren't allowed to go anywhere else, because I never had anything else to worry about. There wasn't neighbors with a big garden that they might start eating their fruit. I always had a little garden. I never really had a problem with my chickens messing with my garden. I've only had that garden that's over there inside the fenced in area. I think it was 2016 when I built that little closed in garden. Before that, I had a garden right out here in this area, but my chickens never messed with it. Because where that fence is now going across, this fence right here going across, when I first got nannies down here, the yard, oh, let me turn, was this cyclone fence right here, and it went all the way across the back, and it touched the garage just like it's doing now. Well, actually it touched the side of the house, the old house. So when I wanted to open it up and have a bigger yard, because her backyard was very small, her house, you know, the house was big and it went into the yard quite a bit of ways. So then I took that cyclone, there's only that one section over there left. It's all up, the trees there's some trees that have grown up through the fence, and it's just I just said leave it, it's okay. But when we were cutting out sections of it so we could enlarge, and then I moved since that was the backyard fence, and I moved the backyard fence to here, and it started just sort of like it is now, and it went all the way across, and it touched over there by Tony's, the fence over there. And this was my backyard, and beyond that was just field. You know, there was no goat house or feed room or chicken coop right there. There wasn't. When I first got chickens, I used this garage And right where the door is now, I cut a real thin little, like, it's like I literally took one, because I remember I told y'all, you know, there's that tin that they had put tin all the way around it. On top of that 105 siding was metal, was sheet, you know, tin, just like up there. I took one piece of that tin off and cut a little small door in the bottom of the actual siding. And then on the inside, it's sort of still there, and I guess I could show y'all that. I mean, I don't want to, this video is going to run up and be so long. Y'all are going to, some of y'all will love it, and then there'll be the ones that don't. Don't judge in here, because it's very nasty. There's not a lot got done in here after Harvey. Okay, so see that metal right there? That's fencing all this, and then there's a pole right there on the other, right over there is a pole, and then it came this way, and it came all the way to here. It came that I put this pole in right underneath this rafter, and all of these poles I put in except for the middle one. The middle one was put in. It was not original, but it was because it started sagging and somebody had put a pole there. So it made it perfect for me to say, you know what, I'm going to put a pole there. I'll attach everything to that pole that was somebody had put in. Then I'm going to put some poles this way, and they come all the way to the door here. And like I said, this was a solid wall right here all the way down. All this was closed in. And I just cut a little hole down there and cut a little door that I could open and close for them at the bottom. And this was their coop. And they came out into here. Now, for a little while, let me get this closed back. One day, all this will be fixed good again. Time is taking a toll on it. For a little while, at this corner, right here, was where the original, this is where the original fence stopped, was right here. Now this is not the original pole, but the fence was right on this side of this tree, and it stopped. That was the yard, went sort of down like that. Okay, so maybe it was on the, no, it was on this side. So anyway, from here I had a fence that started here and it went this way, and it cut back and attached to the side of the house. And I had about 10 chickens that lived in that. And I guess that was considered a chicken run. And that's all they had. But I didn't have it, just few chickens. And those chickens were some chickens that I got from my girls that showed in 4-H. That rode my bus. And when they start culling, you know, they ordered like 300 chickens. And out of that, they cull down until they only have the few they're going to use to show in 4-H and FFA. And their mom, Debbie, told me one day, she met me at the bus, and she said, look, we're fixing to start culling down chickens. And she said, when the chickens are laying eggs, they're laying double yolks. And I said, oh, that's awesome, because their chickens are so, you know, they fatten them up really, really fat. And she said, do you want any? And I said, yeah, I'll take a few chickens. So I think I took 10 from her. Maybe 12. I don't think I took 12, though. I don't think I took maybe I took a whole dozen. Anyway, those chickens were so fat. Those old white, I don't know what kind of chickens they were, but they were just plain white. Big, big, big. Couldn't even hardly walk. And, yeah, it took about 2 weeks before those chickens they literally basically almost crawled around. It took 2 weeks at least for those chickens to lose enough. And in fact, a couple of them died from heat strokes. Because it was, you know, it was spring or toward the beginning of summer, and they were just too heavy. And even though I had them in this little shady area here, I didn't realize just how heavy and how much that causes on their, but anyway, I had a couple die of heat strokes. But it took about 2 weeks before they were able to literally get up off their bodies and use their legs to walk. And that's what I started with. And then after that, I took that little fence down. I took all that down, and they still used that in there as a chicken house. But I just opened that little door in the morning. They'd come out, and they free ranged. So it was when I built that coop and sort of closed in a little yard is when my chickens had a chicken yard, a big chicken yard, and now they're not going to get to free range anymore. The free ranging will stop. Unless I want to cut wings and open the gate every morning and allow them to have the yard here to roam in. Their wings won't allow them to fly up on the fence. Therefore, they'll have to stay in the yard. But if I did that, but man, do you know how many chickens that is to cut wing? Well, you don't cut both wings anyway. You just cut one wing. It makes them off balance and they can't lift themselves up off the ground. And I think that probably would be fine. I don't worry about predators in the daytime. So it would be at night when they go in. And if the net is over it and the fence is all here and the gates are all here, I don't think I should have a problem with, look at him. Look at her up on that roost. She jumped up and she jumped down. Yeah, I don't really think I should have a problem with predators. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see how it all works out. I might could do that. Get Steph to come over here with me one night, maybe Bree too, and all of us catch a chicken, clip a wing, catch a chicken, clip a wing. Something to think about. That way they don't have to have, I mean, they'll be safe at night. If they don't want to go in the house, they don't have to, but they'll be safe from predators. And during the day, they'll have the yard to see. I mean, I've even got chickens over there in Tony's backyard. And I know there's some that come in the front yard. And right now I have the two that are laying in, there's two laying in the old garage. So yeah, they need to be a little bit less freedom. They need to have a little bit of freedom taken away from them so nobody complains. So I need to get that. After I get that wrapped and done and the chicken coop is finished as far as that part done and the net and stuff, then I will, well, I don't know, I may start the fairy garden before I get finished with that. But anyway, at some point I'll get the chicken coop painted too, the barn red. Eventually work my way up to the house. I think I'm going to do my house barn red too. All right. I love you guys. What I was saying was I love y'all. God bless y'all. I'll see y'all in a couple of days.